I have a very important question to ask. For those who ran with the news that Xbox was going to be pulling hardware from its, calendar, it was no longer going to be pursuing Xbox hardware after they'd made the announcement in June. What I want to ask you is, if you mentioned or talked about anything with the Game Pass price increases, I want to know exactly what your premise is when it comes down to this whole thing. Premise number one, y'all said that this Game Pass thing, right? That this was as a result of basically the Activision Blizzard King thing being a burden on them. They're trying to make money. And then you ran with the fake rumor that they were going to cancel the console business, right? So basically what you're saying here is that, oh my gosh, you see, they don't know what they're doing. They don't have any money. They don't blah, 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 blah. But then some of you were posting and reposting Lina Khan's tweet where she said and claimed that the consolidation, right? The consolidation brought Xbox to the point where they're now pretty much pushing everybody to do their bidding, that they are now the masters of the gaming industry. She said in a podcast just recently in an interview on Big A's YouTube channel, I have the link in the video I made, that, when these companies consolidate, this is what you get, right? So now, Xbox, according to her, because that's always been, pretty much a small piece of her argument, is supposed to be a giant of some kind. Was I going to spell giant with J? I was going to spell juggernaut. My brain, giant and juggernaut. So Xbox is now some kind of a giant. So I want you all to talk among yourselves, you PlayStation fanboys. Which narrative do you guys want? Do you want the narrative that Xbox is imploding upon itself because, Game Pass sucks? Or, because, they don't know what they're doing, or because, they've lost the goodwill. That's what you guys used to use a long time ago. Oh, all the goodwill that Xbox got. Xbox lost the goodwill. Some of you are paying money to actually talk nonsense on super chats. My dude, better save that money for a gaming PC, man. Like, I'm telling you, you're going to need it. You need more RAM. All that talk, oh my goodness, you see their games, their console sales are trash, right? Okay. And they're number 3. They lost the console war, right? This is kind of the categorization. Or are you going to stick with Lina Khan and talk about how consolidation has now brought them to the place where, they have price increases, right? And layoffs and all that stuff that she's talking about. Or are you going to modify it in a sense, right? And say, well, Game Pass was unsustainable, right? Because y'all made this other claim. You said Game Pass was unsustainable, right? And then now you want to claim and say that Game Pass is now too expensive. Oh, you see, you guys are so stupid. We told you, but you said it was unsustainable. So you were insinuating that the prices go up. So I want you to also discuss among yourselves which narrative you actually want to, in a sense, perpetrate in the month of October. It's still early. You can pick it, and then for the next 4 weeks, you can run with it while I farm videos out of all of you, and then we're going to do the song and dance again. There's a benefit for it, in it for me. Now, those of you on the Xbox side who are probably tired of this stuff, I can understand your pain. In a situation like that, I won't blame you. If you say, VG, man, I'm going to take a break from your content, I say, sure, man, I understand. But you see, this thing continues to rear its head, and so all I'm going to do is I'm going to start cataloging the arguments. I'm going to start cataloging their, mental gymnastics and ensure that we can ask them to tell us exactly what narrative they want to run with. Because in the past 72 hours, the average PlayStation fanboy, talking head, or whatever has run with multiple conflicting narratives that can't necessarily sustain itself. In fact, let me show you one of them, because this was actually a really good one. It kind of shows you exactly what it is that I mean. This user here, and let me get on my profile and show you this reply, because when asked a very important question, they didn't answer the question. It was kind of weird. So Rally Car Delta Gaming, you said, sir, you wrote a long tweet. You said the FTC's claim that Microsoft would rate prices of Xbox as a result of the merger is based on an argument of price control, meaning the FTC believed that Microsoft would control so much of the video game market after the merger that they could freely raise prices without consequence. Which every single PlayStation gamer at the time were crying monopoly, and maybe some other parties out there. But then after the acquisition, they were like, well, Call of Duty still sucks because, we still have a PlayStation bundle of Call of Duty. Remember that time? Okay. Besides that ludicrous claim that Microsoft has any significant control over the video game market, they don't. There isn't a single person in that courtroom that believed Game Pass would never change prices due to Microsoft's ability or lack thereof to run their business, economic factors, or bigger payments to developers. In other words, Microsoft wasn't saying they would never adjust prices due to the new business model. They were saying that they have no significant control over the market. Lina Khan is still trying to score public internet points by mixing it all together. I showed you guys the FTC thing. Remember when I told you guys that her own, legal claim in the FTC thing never really pointed out that this was going to be based on, this was on page 17 right here. It wasn't necessarily going to be based on, any of what it is that she's publicly saying, because she based it on the possibility that Activision content will be withheld or degraded from other rival consoles and subscription service, which Xbox has not done. They have done the exact opposite and were even mocked for it, which I'll come back and catalog even more PlayStation fanboy talking heads. But I want to show you this guy. This user named Joseph, a rabid fanboy, and I think this kid is quite young, in my opinion. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I want somebody to learn, and I want these kids to learn not to follow these fomenting, worry, fear-mongering people without any critical thinking. He said, yeah, keep thinking that, while Xbox is the only one that goes in the poo-pah, is what he said. So I was like, what? What is he even talking about? So somebody asked him a question. Evil MC. Evil MC is somebody who claims to be an Xbox user, but lately has followed the worry concern train and then eventually kind of got healed from it temporarily. Been watching a lot of their stuff. Xbox started to cook. So after all the concern trolling of Q1, the moment Xbox started to do content dump, everybody kind of backed away, because these vampires, when they see, sunlight, ran away. So Evil MC asks and says, so are Xbox raising the price because they now have a monopoly, like the regulators claimed? Or is it because they're in deep doo-doo? Make up your mind. They're not the same thing. Everyone is starting to notice the schizophrenic, frame of mind of a lot of these console fanboy warriors. He did a facepalm. Do you know why? I mean, not say anything. It's what's the consequence of the consumers you custom out. Think. Raise prices, almost 100% price increase ever since the merger, closure, layoffs. And don't tell it ain't because of the merger. Everything Linda said happened. Xbox is just too incompetent. And I replied. And he said, let Xbox burn. We need a more competent player in the console market anyways. And I said, you didn't answer the question. He didn't answer the question at all. He just spouted off a whole bunch of, he just spurred, then walked away. Because Evil MC, you know what you did? You've corrupted the Fanboy.exe module that's in his mind. He now has to go get an update. He's got to go plug into the prophets of doom that are spreading trash Xbox rumor news and then come back. But now the problem is they're not going to be able to come back because the entire conundrum that they've actually built is based on contradictions. So you ask them a question. Are they raising the prices because they are the ones running the market? Or is their business in the crapper? Because he's claiming that what Lina Khan is saying, which he's talking about consolidation coming true, as a, as some kind of, as the catalyst for these companies walking on everybody else, right? Or walking over their consumers. Or is Xbox just trash and can't even impact the market? The PlayStation fanboy, this is your question for October of 2025. And I'm happy, YouTube is happy to allow for me to ask it in 30 videos a day. I can't do that. I'm just kidding, guys. Maybe I should shoot for a 30 video a day marathon. Like somebody was somebody caught me on Destin's channel and was smack talking to me. I was thinking maybe I should farm a video out of that person's comment. Yes, I should. Anyways, let's catch you on that other video, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time and audience. I appreciate y'all's support, man. Some of you leave this video just to play on, on your drives and all that. Don't think I'm not grateful. You've done a good service to, for me. And I'm going to make sure that I try my best to also, ensure that you're getting information as well. Thanks for watching. Peace out.